Hello, Flawed 13 here. Today I'm going to explain my theory why all people are fluid and are not boxed into gay or straight labels. It's more of like bisexual, but I'll get into it. Please note that this is all theoretical and it is not scientific. My first point will be about biology, that when people are born, they aren't born gay or straight yet because the brain has to focus on developing the body and absorbing new information. Therefore, sexual preferences could start appearing during adolescent or early adolescent times. And basically, when the sexual preferences do start, for example, a boy might find his attraction towards other boys, it might carry on during his adulthood because the brain has taken the info that same sex or boys are potential mates, which could be the reason why people assign themselves labels like gay. But I think no one is truly gay or straight. Rather, it is the brain that has stayed in a hardwired way of attraction to a specific sex, and a lot of factors contribute to this. Which is why my second point will be social construct. If boys were taught that girls should be their potential mates, then most boys will process that as true and their brain will stick to it. Maybe some boys might find that they like boys more because their brains have sent signals to the same sex, but it eventually gets buried because of society telling them that they should be attracted to the opposite sex. That's why I think the brain sticks to a single sex as potential mates because that's what the brain has been raised with. And it developed neurological wirings that, oh, this should be the specific characteristics of a sex to be considered as a potential mate. Which is why you could see some people who feel attraction towards trans people and feel contradictory to themselves even if they are the same sex. Because the brain has treated the characteristics, feminine or masculine traits, as potential mates. And it stuck to that system until adulthood because that's what they were taught to think about, that this is the sex that is a potential mate. My last point will be anyone can be gay or straight or both. Now, majority of people will probably disagree, but I think it's pretty much possible if you let the brain consider the same sex or opposite sex as potential mates. Of course, I understand some people might not be able to feel sexual attraction to the same sex or opposite sex, and I theorize that's because the brain has been strongly wired to think that only one sex should be considered as a potential mate. But I believe if you let yourself notice details of the same or opposite sex, maybe their physical traits and mental traits, whether you're gay or straight, you might feel attraction towards them because your brain has sent potential mate signals. My final remarks will be I think it's much more easier for adolescents to do it than adults because adults have already been strongly wired to feel attraction to one sex. But if the adolescent, of course, has been taught that attraction should only be one way, it might be harder. But if they let themselves notice details in the opposite or same sex, the brain might adapt eventually and see them as a potential mate. Anyways, that's just my fluid theory that no one is either straight or gay, but remember, it's not scientifical. I just based this off of my own snippet of knowledge on the internet.